Welcome. So glad you could be here. My name is Remzi Arpachi-Dussault. I've been a professor here for about 22 years in the computer sciences department. I'm also the chair of the department right now. And I'm so glad to see you all. It's of course an unusual time, but we're really happy you could make it for this historic occasion. The one thing I'd want to talk before we get into the program is the theme of campus this fall. The theme of campus has really been a coming together. And really what we're talking about here is a coming together in many different ways. We've, of course, created a new School of Computer Data Information Sciences. That's a coming together, bringing together 3 departments, each with their own great and fantastic histories, into a unified whole. That's an historic thing for campus. That includes the iSchool, which has its roots. It's actually the oldest academic program of the 3, over 100 years old, and has these amazing roots in of course, what is central to information and data, which is the library and library sciences. So they're part of CDIS. We have the statistics department, which was founded a bit later in 1960. Historically and modern, excellent department. Goes back to some of the greatest statistical thinkers in the country, like George Box, who helped found the department. And they're part of CDIS. And of course, I'm biased. I think the computer sciences department is great too. And we have an amazing history too. Some of the people who helped put it together are in the room today. We're actually the second CS department in the country. And with roots in numerical analysis and some of the more theoretical sides of computing, and then really push forward the practical system sides of computing in so many ways. For example, over 4 decades ago, we were doing database research when many top departments didn't think that was an important area. And of course, databases today drive the information economy. So CDIS together is a coming together of these 3 core departments, and it's really going to advance computing and data and information in an amazing way over the next decades at this university. It's also a coming together in the sense that we're talking about, as you may have seen outside, a new building to house those 3 units, also to house another fantastic department of biostatistics and medical informatics connecting us to the medical school. And we're going to be able to, by pulling us together, really be more than just the sum of our parts and advance research and advance education and, of course, advance service to the state, to our students, to everybody that we can and beyond. So we're going to get going now with our program. I don't have too much more to say right now. I do want to make sure we thank all the people that have made this happen. That's the coming together, I think, third part. So many people, leadership on campus, leadership in the state, of course, alumni who've made us proud for so many years and of course keep giving back to this campus, all our partners like WARF, et cetera. So many people are helping to support this. And of course, the faculty, the staff, and the students. So let's give a round of applause for everybody who's made this happen today. Okay, thank you. So we're going to begin with a short video. Tom Erickson is unfortunately not able to join us today, and you might guess why. But he's an alum from 1980, and a proud alum, and the founding director of CDIS. Tom currently serves on the boards of several emerging tech companies in North America and Europe. He also was a founding director and CEO of Acquia, a Boston-based software company that, he grew from founding to hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, nearly 1,000 employees, and eventually a $1 billion acquisition. So we've been very lucky to have Tom back on campus leading the effort with CDIS, and now he's going to join you remotely through this video. So let's all welcome Tom.
Good morning. 45 years ago, a pimply-faced 17-year-old boy from rural Wisconsin stepped onto the UW-Madison campus for the very first time. Possessing a dream and some self-taught computer skills, the boy needed a job so that he could pay his tuition and his living costs. Stumbling into the basement of the engineering building, he became the first freshman to be hired at the engineering computing lab. In those days, that's where computing types lived, in the dark corners. About a decade later, a bright-eyed, enthusiastic, newly minted PhD arrived in Madison, also with a dream. Originally from Northwest India, he had already achieved the impossible. he got accepted into his undergraduate university, which has a mere 1.5% admittance rate. And somehow, he also found his way to the United States for his graduate studies. A researcher in high-performance computing, he investigated out-of-order processors while his peers were investigating in-order processors. Results from his research can be found in almost every high-end microprocessor on the market today, virtually every phone, every tablet, and every computer. In achieving his dream, Professor Guri Sohi helped make computing pervasive in our society, bringing it out of the basement and into our daily lives. Some 3 decades later, a young woman from North Carolina brought her dream to UW-Madison. A digital native, she and every other student in her high school had used computers for their daily studies, feeding her interest in studying computer science. Her multicultural heritage had also led her to try and understand and bridge the gaps in our society, fueling a desire to study psychology. In pursuing her dream, Vera Wei became a dual major student at the intersection of technology and humanity. Computers weren't just for techies anymore. We'll see more from Vera in a video later in our program. Universities are enablers of dreams. That boy who arrived on campus 45 years ago, of course, was me. I achieved my first dreams early, became an entrepreneur, and helped create thousands of jobs around the globe. Today, with computing and data pervasive in our society, making dreams come true for the next 45 years and beyond is the mission of the School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences. Not just for the techies, but for all researchers and students who use data and computing. In essence, for everyone. Technology is a fundamental enabler today, a long way from its origins in the dark corners. This school will be a lighthouse for tech in the state and in the region, driving innovation and economic development that will impact the lives of all of our citizens. The Wisconsin Idea 2.0. I'm humbled to be a part of it, and I wish I could be there with you to celebrate today.
Before the Chancellor hops up here, we're going to have one short video that tells you a little bit about what CDIS is in this short 90-second video. So let's go ahead and roll that.
It's subtle, the way things are changing. The seeds once imagined decades ago now show up in our daily lives. It's here, the future, and none of us can expect to face it alone. Alone isn't where ideas thrive. That's why UW-Madison created the School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences, connecting ideas, connecting data, connecting people who will work at the intersection of technology and humanity to solve society's greatest challenges. UW-Madison will be where the now and the next converge. It's a first-of-its-kind collaboration in the nation, lighting the way forward for research and discovery across campus. A cutting-edge building where the best and brightest will be drawn to collaborate, completing a tech corridor at the center of campus, magnifying the power of medicine, engineering, agriculture, and business, an economic engine for the state, where ideas converge to form a foundation for the future of science and industry. It's the Wisconsin Idea 2.0. Not only will the influence of the university work to the benefit of the people of the state, but this new collaboration will make every idea better. When we connect, the future begins. CDIS, the convergence of what's next.
Good morning, everyone. I am Chancellor Rebecca Blank, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome all of you here in person, as well as those of you who are watching virtually, I think, around the globe. I also particularly want to welcome our state and local officials, as well as those from campus. And we've got many of the faculty here in the new school. As we prepared for this day, There were a number of people who assumed this was just going to be about announcing a new building. But as you can see, from Tom's presentation, from other things that are going to be said, this is about much more than that. This is about launching a whole new school. Any top-rated university has to constantly reevaluate its educational programs to be sure they're staying current and responding to the changing interests of our students and the changing needs of employers. What that means is we're constantly creating new programs and reimagining old ones, but it's very rare to create an entire new school. So this is an exciting moment. It's exciting for me, it's exciting for our students, it's exciting for our faculty and staff, and it should be exciting for the entire state of Wisconsin. We're investing in CDIS because at this moment in time, a first-rate computer and data science program is a necessity in any first-class university. And for a state that wants to build its reputation as a regional and national beacon for high-tech industry. CDIS is going to be a very Wisconsin school. It will bring together a set of top-ranked programs in a way that no other university is quite doing, and the interactions between those programs are going to create opportunities for faculty to collaborate in all sorts of interesting ways. That, in turn, will help increase our national reputation in this area. It will burnish our reputation as a global leader in data science through the American Family Insurance Data Science Institute, which will also be in this building. And it will transform our ability to serve not only the students in these majors, but every student in every major who wants to build computing and data into their base of knowledge and their degree. We know we're on track with this effort. One of our first introductory classes aimed at non-majors last year enrolled students from 72 different majors. That's how important computing, data, information science is across the entire campus. Now, one of the really exciting parts of opening a new school is designing these sorts of new degree programs. We have a suite of new degrees and certificates in the works, and we're going to roll them out as quickly as we can to meet the extraordinary level of demand. As many of you know, computer science is now the #1 major on this campus. It has grown by 800% in the last decade, and it continues to pick up steam. I think we have more than 2,000 students majoring in computer science these days. Another really exciting and occasionally quite challenging part of opening a new school is giving them a space to live, building a new building. And you've seen some of the renderings. If you haven't looked at the model out there, when you leave, go look at it for sure. This is going to be a facility that will be worthy of the nationally ranked departments that it houses, and worthy of our standing as a premier research institution. We're going to start construction in early 2023 with a projected move-in at the end of 2024. To build a new building on a university campus is never easy, and I might note on this campus it's sometimes particularly difficult. You've heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Unlike nearly every other academic building here at UW, this facility is going to be built entirely with support from alumni and friends. And to make that happen will take a commitment from people who believe in the idea that an investment in UW is an investment in Wisconsin. Some of those people are here today, and I need to thank them. The CDIS faculty and staff, whose support is critically important as we build the school from the inside out. Their ideas about a space that will allow easier interaction with their students, with each other, with faculty from other areas like engineering, business, medicine, is going to drive the design of the building. The members of the business community, who've been very enthusiastic supporters of CDIS. Eric Iverson, Chief Executive Officer at the Wisconsin Alumni Foundation, and the WARF Board of Trustees, including Board Chair Jim Burby. WARF has been a strong partner from the moment we created this new school, and they are now making a transformative commitment that Eric is going to be announcing in just a few minutes. And, most important, I need to thank John and Tasha Margridge. Those of you who know John and Tasha know that their generosity has transformed this campus in many ways. The Margridge Institute for Research, housed right here in the Discovery Building, has helped make us one of the top centers for biomedical research in the nation. The Margridge Center for Public Service has given our students pathways to channel their passion for improving people's lives and building stronger communities. And in our most recent campaign, The mortgage match created nearly 300 new faculty chairs and professorship funds all over campus since the start of the Always Forward campaign, which has allowed us to compete at a whole new level for top faculty. So today, with deep gratitude, I can announce that John and Tasha have made another extraordinary commitment to UW-Madison. They have committed $125 million to the CDIS building project in two parts. The first, a $75 million gift, and the second, a $50 million matching gift that we hope is going to inspire a diverse group of friends and alumni to join us in bringing this new building to life. So thanks to John and Tasha. The length of that applause is a sign of how grateful people here are. I want to highlight the last point I made about this match. There is now a $50 million matching gift on the table, and we need to find support from all of our friends, and I'm talking to all of you, both online and in the room. This is a $225 million project, and if we're going to complete this building and move in 2024, as I mentioned earlier, we need to close off the match and close off the building fundraising by the end of this academic year. So some of you are going to be hearing from us, and I hope many of you are going to want to take part. After all, with the match in hand, we're offering a half-price sale. You give us $50, and with the match, we get $100 for the new building. Who in Wisconsin can resist that type of an opportunity? So, John and Tasha, we would not be here without you, and I want to thank you for your passion, for your vision, for your commitment to this university and to the state, and for everything that you have done and continue to do for this wonderful university. And I will invite you up to say a few words. Thank you very much.
My wife told me to take the mask off, and I always do what she says. Tasha and I are 1955 graduates of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The youngest of 4 children, I basically self-funded, and I graduated debt-free. But that's really not the truth. I have to thank the taxpayers of this state for our education. They paid between 60% and 70% of the cost. I paid $75, I think, per semester. UW prepared us for the working world, but equally for a bountiful, long life journey. This investment in the CDIS building and the departments it will inspire is part of our repayment to the people of this state for our education. We, like our parents, have long believed that education is one of the very best investments in a future world. Indeed, many of the taxpayers that funded us are no longer with us. Our first donation in the 60s was $10, but it indicated the feeling of the gift that had been given to us. This country and the opportunities it has provided us have exceeded all of our expectations. It is our hope that our investment in people through education will provide opportunity dividends to many of them. I joined the information industry almost at its dawning. Its growth has been revolutionary, not evolutionary. It has impacted every aspect of how we live, work, learn, and play. We stopped for coffee before this meeting, and I borrowed a few chairs from a student who was clearly studying. Being an old guy and always curious, I said, "What are you studying?" He went, "Shh, I'm in a meeting." There was no computer science department at Madison when we were here. Today, thousands of students want and need a good taste of data science. And that is the role of this new department and school. UW-Madison has played a role in the revolution, from helping build the internet and modern databases to the work of Professor Soe on out-of-order processors and Professor Levy contribution to distributed databases and high-throughput computing. This new school will develop and nurture the next generation of Levy's, Soes, Landwebers, DeWitts, DeBoers, and many more. We ask that you join us in this unique transformational undertaking. Part of our pledge, as the Chancellor noted, is a match. You can make that happen. Help us complete the funding so that we can break ground next spring. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, yes.
We welcome the state to do some matching.
Well, thank you so much. Really, really amazing. And when my wife and I came here as professors, we of course knew about all the great accomplishments of the CS department. But the one thing that's been such an amazing and fulfilling thing is to discover the alumni of this great university. Just such a great spirit and so much excellence and also so much humility. It's really just, it's inspiring. So thank you so much. So it's my pleasure next to introduce Dan Fein. Senator Fein, a Republican from Fond du Lac, is a Wisconsin native and worked in the printing industry. He serves on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Board and is the assistant majority leader. Senator Fein also chairs the Senate Committee on Economic and Workforce Development and co-chairs the Wisconsin Tech Caucus, which convenes like-minded, bipartisan lawmakers on emerging issues in Wisconsin's tech sectors. So Senator Fein, let's welcome him.
Thank you for having me today. I am State Senator Dan Fine from Fond du Lac and the proud father of 2 UW-Madison graduates. I'm excited for the opportunity to speak at the unveiling of the new UW School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences. The school is the first of its kind in the country, providing a unique opportunity for the university and the state of Wisconsin to excel in the technology sector. UW-Madison should strive to be #1 in this field, and the new Computer, Data, and Information Sciences School will put the university and Wisconsin in a league of its own. In the legislature, I chair the Senate Committee on Economic and Workforce Development, as well as co-chair of the Technology Caucus, a newly created bipartisan caucus on emerging tech issues. Additionally, I serve on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Board. My policy background and reason for running for public office was economic development, which quickly turned into workforce development. The positions I have held throughout my tenure in office have solidified the connection between workforce and economic development. Prior to my tenure as a state senator, I worked in production management at a printing company in Fond du Lac for 30 years. While there, I realized Wisconsin has a stark need for workforce development. Workforce development directly influences economic development. It is impossible to have economic development without first having a strong workforce. The UW School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences will assist in developing and diversifying our state's workforce in much-needed areas, which will lead to ingenuity and economic development. I'm so glad that the school has finally come to fruition. In 2018, there was this legislative discussion about creating a computing sciences branch of the UW, either in the form of a school or a college. And I was assured that it would be elevated to some higher status, so I put it on the side burner. I was a strong supporter of this initiative and am excited that it has finally happened. There is a strong need for graduates with backgrounds in the technology sector. Technology just does not refer to digital technology, though that is a component of it. Technology refers to the innovation and discovery in all sectors that spurs economic development. As the university aptly put it in this school, connect ideas, data, and people to work at the intersection of technology and humanity to solve society's greatest challenges. Economic development is not a partisan issue. It is extremely bipartisan and helps the entire state. We can all agree this newly created school is a fantastic endeavor and will provide a great benefit to Wisconsin. 90% of in-state UW system graduates stay in Wisconsin at least 5 years after earning a degree. This new school will go a long way in attracting talent to Wisconsin and growing our state's workforce. In addition, the Computer, Data, and Information Sciences facility being constructed will be able to accommodate significant growth in the school and will be a center of tech and innovation and research here in Madison. The School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences will generate excitement amongst students, faculty, and the public at large. With the current workforce shortage, the creation of this school will send a positive signal to the business community that Wisconsin is committed to diversifying and developing its workforce. The education and research opportunities this school provides will aid Wisconsin for years to come. Graduates will have a unique perspective on issues Wisconsin faces and have distinct solutions to these problems. The UW School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences will be a great asset to our state and spur the needed economic development. Thank you for having me today, and on Wisconsin.
Yeah, great to have you here. And I mentioned it's great to meet alums. And it's also great to, even better in some ways, is to meet parents of alums, because they certainly, I always feel that gratitude from them that we helped their kids at some part in their life. So thank you, Senator Fine. Next up, we have Secretary Missy Hughes. She is the Secretary and CEO of the WDC, which is Wisconsin's lead economic development organization. Before joining WDC in October 19, she was General Counsel and Chief Mission Officer at Organic Valley. And she's had a long list of things that she's done in her career. She told me not to read them all, so I won't. But among other things, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture appointed her to the USDA Advisory Committee on Agriculture and Biotechnology in the 21st century. So it's our great pleasure to have you here. Welcome.
Good morning. I guess I first have to say that I'm the proud mother of a current Badger and a current Blue Gold. So I don't have any alumni yet, but we'll get there. And I'm so thrilled to be here and talk with you today. You know, in my role, I have the opportunity to meet with some of Wisconsin's best and brightest companies. And in the past few weeks, I've had the opportunity to sit down with a number of these companies and talk about the future of our economy and what we can see. In particular, we've been talking a lot about electrification and the opportunities that this presents for Wisconsin manufacturing to be at the forefront of these changes that we're going to see happening in our economy, in our marketplace, and throughout the world. I've had the chance to sit down with companies like Oshkosh Trucking, who are in the process of building and engineering an entire new fleet for the U.S. Postal Service. And when you think about that, when I had the opportunity to sit with them and really understand what they're doing, not only are they building these vehicles and engineering these vehicles here in Wisconsin, they're thinking about what does that mean at the post office in Fond du Lac or in White Plains, New York, that doesn't have chargers right now for those postal vehicles when they come back in at the end of the day. And how are we going to charge that? And how are we going to think about that impact that whole fleet is going to have throughout the United States? That's happening in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I also have the chance to sit down with companies like Schneider Trucking in Green Bay, which, you know, when you drive on the interstate, you see those big orange trucks everywhere. They're in the opportunity and in the process of thinking about how to develop long-haul 18-wheelers. And so this is not just, you know, thinking about how do I get a truck from here to there. It's thinking about how do I charge that truck? How do I have the batteries that aren't so heavy that those trucks destroy our roads? And in fact, how do I make that truck go 1,500 miles? Because right now, that's what a long-haul vehicle on a load of diesel can do. So these conversations are happening in Wisconsin. I've had the opportunity to sit down with companies like Quick Trip. I hope we all go to Quick Trip convenience stores and stop. Well, Quick Trip is thinking about what do we need to do in order to provide the infrastructure so that when someone comes in an electric vehicle to our convenience store and buys our bananas and our fantastic chickens, we can also make sure that they're able to recharge their vehicle and be able to do that. And finally, I had the chance to talk and sit down with companies like Milwaukee Tool, who years and years ago made the decision that they were going to move to all battery-operated tools. And we see those tools everywhere in use. They are exploding. I had the chance 10 days ago to travel around and see the 8 different buildings that they are constructing right now in Wisconsin to meet their needs. And I'll just have to stop and pause for a second to remind everybody that Milwaukee Tool's colors are red and white. And then finally, I have the chance to sit down with a company like Comprex, which is this teeny little company that's in one room in a business incubator in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And they're making heat exchangers that are now being used in wastewater treatment plants and power plants and other huge manufacturing around the country. This teeny little company. And they wanted to talk to me about what can we do to help with manure management and removing PFAS from waters. We have the technology to do this. Each and every one of those companies also talked to me about the need to have more team members and more people who can help them with this engineering and with the software development that they desperately need. And they want those team members to be UW graduates because they all say to me that UW graduates are the best people on their team. They come, they work hard, they know what the company's challenges are, and they stick around for years and years and raise their families here. And so I am so excited to be able to go back to those companies and tell them about the incredible investment that the mortgages are making and the incredible opportunity that they now have to participate in the 2-for-1 sale and support our building of the CDIS building and the opportunity to have more and more UW graduates that can come and help them stay here for the very long haul. So I thank you for that opportunity to go back and talk to them about that and learn more about what they're doing and make more connections between UW and our business community, because that's really what the Wisconsin Idea 2.0 is all about, is making those connections, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to do that. So thank you so much for your investment, and I can't wait to talk more and more about it.
Yeah, thank you so much, and great points. I think you know, a lot of these companies come and talk to us too, and you know, with this realization that they're changing. And right now we kind of have this bifurcation. We think of there being companies and then tech companies, and the reality is that distinction is disappearing and is already disappeared to some extent. That all companies are of course going to be tech companies, and that's what we're trying to build towards today. So thank you for those thoughts. So next up, I have the pleasure of introducing Eric Iverson. Eric is the Chief Executive Officer of the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, or what we call WARF. He brings to his role more than 20 years of executive experience leading organizations committed to entrepreneurial efforts that positively impact people worldwide. He assumed the lead of the investment in nonprofit patent and licensing organization in July 2016, and for more than 90 years, WARF has invested in scientific research and education at the UW-Madison, stewarding the cycle of research, discovery, commercialization, and investment. Really a special thing that we have here working with us, so please come up here, Eric. Welcome, Eric.
Good morning, everybody. So wonderful to see everybody here. It's nice to see people in person. I can't wait for the day that I can see your faces, but it's nice to see your bodies. WARF has been around for almost 100 years now. We've partnered across the campus here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison to bring Badger technology to the market. While over those 100 years, certainly the technologies have changed, constantly changed, our mission has not, and that is to work with the researchers on this campus to protect their intellectual output and advance their discoveries to make a difference in this world. That is just one way that WARF works with campus to advance the Wisconsin idea. One of our emerging partners is new to that mission, of course, and that is the new School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences that we now are referring to as CDIS. While the school is young and just being hatched, it is certainly built from research and technology that has been shaping the society with phenomenal researchers that have been on this campus that we've heard from Tom and Ramsey and others. And in response to an enormous demand by the students as well as society at large, as well as existing workforce development and training that we are all highly tuned into and we know is highly necessary. And while the R&D is not new, over the past couple decades, WARF has worked with computer sciences, information, statistics on hundreds and hundreds of new technologies and intellectual output. We are thrilled to join with all of our partners today and others in launching a new era for computer science within the state of Wisconsin and at this great university. To catalyze and strengthen the university's research, teaching, and training on computer, data, and information technologies so we can continue to shape society and this great earth. The innovation will range from human-centered computing, precision medicine, smart farms, cybersecurity, and so many other places. With that vision in mind, on behalf of the WARF Board of Trustees and all of WARF staff, it is my true honor to announce that WARF has committed $50 million to support this initiative. be absolutely clear, this is a compliment to John and Tasha's grand donation. It is by no means part of the match. We still have $50 million to raise, everybody. WRF is proud of its history of working across this great campus, including computer science, for sure. We are also proud to play a role in the next chapter of faculty, staff, students, to invent and push boundaries so Wisconsin can lead in new technology. We also look forward to partnering with everyone to close the technology equity gap, as well as the urban-rural divide. I wish you all well, Godspeed, and thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. So grateful to have WRF's support in this, and I look forward to continuing to work with you as we go forward. Thank you so much, Eric. So before getting towards the end here, we're going to queue up one more video. We've been talking a lot about skills in demand, and so now we're going to see a short video about that.
When I first started with Exact Sciences, I never would have thought that we would essentially become a software data technology company. We have become that with over 500 people on our IT data software team and investing over $100 million a year into our capabilities here. It is how we are going to, in part, and a major part, how we're going to win the war against cancer.
In our case, knowing your client is sort of the key to be a successful hospitality company. Great guest service really depends on sort of anticipating what your guest needs. And so in that way, we're using data to engage with our current and potential guests.
We need people who are really adept at change. So they're curious. They are very facile with learning new things. They love taking on new challenges. They're not afraid of taking on risk. They're not stuck in conventional ways of thinking. They're willing to work tremendously hard to make sure that they see through the things that they're working on. And technology and software is a huge part of this.
I mean, if you think about it, the digital revolution at UW has sort of gone from computer majors in the 80s in my era being sort of an exotic specialty degree, to the university's now most popular degree.
A lot of the students I'm personally know and talk to in class are pretty much all have a double major when they're introducing themselves. And more often than not, the reason for that is because computer science is a very versatile field. For me, the combination of computer science and psychology is valuable in that they both collectively contribute to the field of human-computer interaction. It's very important to me that I build a foundation in both the technical side of things as well as understanding how people think when they are guided by these digital tools. Eventually, I want to become a user experience engineer or designer. So whether I'm, teaching fourth graders how to build 3D models on their iPads, or I'm teaching my grandma how to turn on her video for a family call, those and other experiences have all shown me that technology is inevitable for people from all walks of life.
Every student at UW needs the skills that CDIS offers. Whether you wish to just be a user of the data solutions, or you wish to sort of help evaluate the data that drives whatever profession you pursue, because data is key to every profession.
We had a vision when we brought Exact Sciences from Boston to Madison that we would build a company based significantly on graduates of the University of Wisconsin, from their undergraduate programs, from their graduate programs and PhD programs. And if you look at the pedigrees of the people who developed Cologuard, our leading colon cancer screening test, that original scientific team, a majority of them had UW degrees. We have an enormous amount of pride in that.
My pleasure to introduce finally to you Dean Eric Wilcox. Eric is the Dean of the College of Letters and Sciences, as you all know. He's also the Mary C. Jacoby Professor in the Department of Astronomy, which he joined in 1995 and chaired from 2005 to 2008. He previously served as Deputy Dean and Associate Dean for the college. His research focuses on the evolution and environment of galaxies and groups in which they reside through the lens of radio wavelengths. He continues that line of research through leading the UW's involvement in SALT, the South African Large Telescope Project, the largest single aperture telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. So how cool that our dean also understood what I just read. So let's all welcome Eric.
Great. Thank you, Ramsey. Good morning, everyone. Okay, it's great to see you all. So I'm going to begin by saying that this announcement and the announcement that we have shared today and the fact that we are all gathered here in this room with so many people watching the live stream reflects what I think is truly remarkable about this institution. That we can gather together, the leaders of the university, our state and local leaders, members of our business community, our faculty, our staff, our students, and of course our fantastic alumni, together to embrace and support a vision that is the School of Computer Data and Information Sciences. And I think that is what makes this institution remarkable. Our commitment not just to that excellence in the classroom and the excellence of our research, but our commitment to the state, as we have heard from our previous speakers. So I'll simply echo some of the things that have already been said. Computing, data, and information sciences are pervasive in our society. We know that. There is no grand challenge in science, in medicine, in our social issues that does not lean on these disciplines for its solutions. I recently had the pleasure of meeting with a number of industry leaders from around the state and around the region, representing a wide range of economic sectors, as Missy was reflecting. Each and every one of them described as their top need the need to recruit talent prepared in computing, data, and information sciences, whether they were actually a data science company or working in the food industry. And so, as has been said before, this is important for our economy going forward and important for all that we do. And CDIS is built to meet these challenges and to help drive what I like to think of as our relentless pursuit of excellence at this institution. It is the excellence in our education and the opportunities that we provide for our students. It is the excellence in the research that we do, and it is the excellence to support the state in which we reside. And so already, this integrated, coordinated model that we have put together is generating ideas, the networks, and multiplying the opportunities for our students. As you've heard before, computer sciences is our most popular major. It has grown by 800% over the last few years. Over 2,000 majors now, Ramsey. Ramsey, the chair of computer science. He has a daunting task. As we welcome the largest freshman class in history at this institution, so many of them are going to be pursuing computer science and data science and information science as they go forward. Data science. It's our newest major. It's been on campus now for 2 years. It is the fastest growing major that we have on our campus. And the neat thing about data science, and actually this is also true of computer science, and it has been hinted at before, is that 60% of the students who are majoring in data science are double majors. Some of them are even triple majors. They are combining data and computing science with their other passions to be a well-rounded citizen going forward into the world. And so I want to give a lot of credit to our faculty and staff in CDIS who have put together a number of things to really enhance the education of our students. That is expanding the percentage of our undergraduates who can think critically and competently about how the human aspects of computing and data science, building what we call flexible curricular pathways for students who want that basic literacy in these disciplines. As I've said before, tech is everywhere in society, and those with even that base level of understanding will find success as they move forward. We are tailoring programs to meet the needs of those double majors. As I mentioned, 60% of our data science majors are double majors, and I want to give credit to our Department of Economics, which is the first of our departments to think about their own major and how to craft a pathway for economics students to double major in economics and data science. So we are enabling a lot of creativity in the curriculum that we have. And I want to mention also that with the help of generous philanthropy, we are creating the CDIS Learning Center, which will help ensure that all undergraduates taking classes in computer data and information sciences get the help that they need to succeed. All of these developments and offerings through CDIS are invaluable not just to our students, but to the university, and I think to the future of Wisconsin. There's another aspect of this that is, I think, really critical to our success. CDIS is making sustained efforts to invest in, to expand opportunities in the diversity and inclusion of the faculty, staff, and students in the new school. This is taking on many different forms, but by combining these three departments, we have begun a new and diverse inclusive school that aims to address existing underrepresentation and inclusivity problems that we see in many, many STEM disciplines. We have recently received a best practice grant from the Center for Inclusive Computing to increase the number of women graduating with bachelor's degrees in computer sciences. As CDIS Associate Director Kristen Essenfelder says, women must be at the table in shaping the future of technology, but that can only happen if we inspire, educate, and create opportunities. And that's what CDIS is doing. I also want to mention that as a son of an architect, I understand the power of the built environment to spark collaborations and encounters that are needed to spark that discovery and innovation, to bring together and engage communities from on campus and from beyond. Our new CDIS building that you can see the model of out there and you've seen pictures of throughout will do just that. It will draw students, staff, and faculty from across campus and welcome and inspire and engage our community and industry stakeholders. It is an important aspect of the vision that CDIS can achieve, and I'm incredibly grateful to the generation of the Mortgages and to WARF for helping make that vision a reality. And so in closing, I want to thank a number of people. I want to thank Tom Erickson, the director of the School of Computer Data and Information Sciences, for his innovative leadership and his strategic expertise, and I'm so sorry that Tom cannot be with us here today. I want to thank Kristen Essenfelder for her formidable leadership of the people, the curriculum, and the academic functions of the new school. And of course, I need to thank the chairs of these three great departments who have stepped up to lead the various units of CDIS in this new program that we have. They've come to work together to present a stronger future. Rimzi Arpachi-Dussault, the current chair of computer sciences. Yajin Wang, where's Yajin? The chair of statistics, and his predecessor, Jun Zhu, who was also the chair of statistics. And Alan Rubel. Alan is somewhere in here, the director of the information school, who is also an important part of our team, and along with his predecessor, Sunny Kim. Without those individuals at their leadership positions at the department, this would not be possible. So thank you all for the work that you are doing. And of course, I need to thank the entire CDIS team, including Suzanne Swift, who has done wonderful work to put this event together, all of our colleagues in those departments and in the College of Letters and Science for help making this possible. We have a great future ahead of us, and CDIS is a critical part of driving that future. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for all of your support, and on Wisconsin.
Okay, we did it. So quick, again, media note, if two things. Media note, if the media wants to speak with the chancellor, the Mortgages, that's going to happen over there. So please head that direction. And I just want to end on one final note. And thank you, Eric, for those great words. I really appreciate it. And thank you. I was going to do some thanks too, but I think you did a great job of doing that. We've been talking today about a building. And buildings, of course, are built brick by brick over a long period of time. Nowadays, they can do it in a couple of years. Of course, in the past, people used to lay bricks for foundations that they wouldn't even see the end of in their lifetime. And so we have to really recognize the thanks that we're giving is not just the people here today, but really people over so many years that have contributed to this moment happening right now in all the departments and the campus. So campus leadership, of course. I'd like to also, of course, again, thank our very generous partners in the Mortgages and WARF in helping make this happen. The faculty of CDIS, nearing 100 faculty, getting towards there, doing a lot of work. Of course, the staff in all those departments who really make this university run. And then there's one final group I just want to share a quick story with you about. Last night before I taught class, I have about 300 undergrads in the class, so we go there together. And honestly, you might be wondering, some of you, what it's like to be in a class these days, and it's never been more energetic. I've never had more fun in a class. Students are so happy to be back on campus. They're just excited to see each other. I think to see me, though maybe less clear. And this, what I did before class last night was I put up a picture of what you see like outside of this building. And literally before the words, I said, "This is a new building." And at that moment, they burst into applause. They were so excited about the thought of this happening. And they even understood that it probably didn't mean that much to them because buildings take a while to build. They understood what a big moment this was. And so when we think about all of this that we do, we think about a lot of people. But I think a great thing to think about at the end is who this is really for is the student, the student, the student. So thank you all, and so happy that you're here today. Thank you.